It's top of the hour, and the election that we've been talking about could be a real crackerjack. Punjab, where for the first time you have got 5 or more parties in the fray, and they're all major players. None of them are fringe players. We're going to first take you through the various regions. Looking at Majha, which is the Panthik belt. This is the place where the Akalis give it their all. How is the Majha belt voting? Congress, out of the 25 seats here, is getting 4. Aam Aadmi Party, very surprisingly, is getting 15 out of 25. That is more than 50% seats in the Panthik belt are going to the Aam Aadmi Party, and Akali Dal is only managing to get 1/5. This was their stronghold, and the Akalis are getting 5 seats in the Majha area.
Because the entire raison d'etre for the Akalis was the consolidation of Sikh identity. And if the Akalis in Majha are only getting 5 and the AAP is getting 15, it shows that the party now, that the Sikh voters are choosing as the party that they want to see representing their interests is the Aam Aadmi Party. Now that is a dramatic turnaround.
This is very, very surprising.
Is this because, and let me try to bring in Smita Prakash on this, as well as Ishkaran Bhandari and Sabha Naqvi. Sabha Naqvi, what do you put this down to? The AAP, fair enough, doing well in Majha, but outstripping even the SAD.
So it has to be because Punjab has a 58% Sikh population, 58%. So they are getting rural Sikh votes. Otherwise, they cannot reach this figure without that. And we would have to see a breakdown of. But you know, can I make a general point?
Yeah.
If AAP wins, let us say that the Congress party managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Let's say that. Yes. In the case of Punjab, they managed to snatch defeat.
Well, Majha, they will need to really not snatch, but they will have to perhaps rob
defeat. Snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yes, okay.
I'm saying because of
that's a skill they have developed over time since 2014. It's a very unique skill.
Smita Prakash.
Yeah, you know,
Majha.
How long would the Shiromani Akali Dal keep depending on the Panthik vote? How, with no messaging, with nothing new to offer, with no leadership, and riding on, you know, the Modi wave for so many elections, they had nothing to say this time. And this time the entire narrative was taken over by one, Sidhu, causing this absolute disruption in the Congress party, and the Aam Aadmi Party bringing out a completely new candidate and having a new messaging. The Aam Aadmi Party has caught the imagination of the voters, and clearly they had something to offer. As far as the Shiromani Akali Dal is concerned, they have to really rethink, I think, sitting back, how many more elections are they going to lose now?
I think Mr. Sethi of the Akali Dal is here with us. Sethi साहब, ये तो आपकी जो गढ़ है उसके अंदर आपको 5 सीटें मिल रही हैं, 25 में से 5 कैसे?
दो दिन वेट कीजिए, 2 दिन आप वेट कीजिए, you will see the difference. देखिए एग्जिट पोल नहीं, रिजल्ट्स नहीं है. मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, जब अब रिजल्ट्स आएंगे वो आपको चौंका देंगे. तो आपकी सीट पे हम होंगे, हमारी सीट पे आप होंगे. मैं उस समय आपसे बात करूंगा.
नहीं सर, अब हम सब अपनी अपनी सीटों पे होंगे, पर आपके रिजल्ट्स उल्टे हो जाएंगे, ऐसा आप कह रहे हैं. बट वी सीन अ ट्रेंड. हर फेज में हमने आपको एक ट्रैकर दिखाया है, और आम आदमी पार्टी का ग्राफ ऊपर ही गया है और आपका नीचे ही गया है. इतना तो गलत नहीं हो सकता.
आम आदमी की तरफ आपका झुकाव ज्यादा है. वो 2-3 दिन में जो वो गलत फहमी है, जो मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग्स हैं, वो जनता को क्लियर हो जाएंगी.
Okay, it's not just the SAD. It's not just the. Okay, let's have a look at the Doaba region. Let's open that up now, viewers. This is an interesting one because Doaba has 23 seats. The Congress at 6. The AAP 11 out of those 23 seats. The BJP at 1. That might also be because of its alliance. The SAD is at 5. Again, it's the AAP that is the talking point here, and it looks as if it is.
And why is this significant? Because Doab is the area which has the maximum Dalit population of the 32% that are in Punjab are actually concentrated in Doab, and Charanjit Singh Channi should have pulled all these 23 seats, but he's managing to get only 6 according to this. Aam Aadmi Party gains here as well. Let's quickly take a look at the final and the largest chunk. Malwa, the farmer belt, the wheat bowl as it were.
And the one that decides the outcome.
Absolutely. 69 seats over here. Aam Aadmi Party in the last election had got all its seats from here, and they have pretty much swept the Malwa area as well.
That is significant. And if you add this up, and we're going to, one second, we're going to bring you viewers the vote share in just 30 seconds. Let's add this up. It all comes up to a very healthy number for the Aam Aadmi Party getting a comfortable majority in a state, major state actually, a border state beyond Delhi in fact. Now look at this.
This will be the first state, the full state they'll form a government.
State that they will get. So this is history in the making,
yes,
in itself. And the number for the Congress, dismal. And Rahul Gandhi, the entire Gandhi family that has actually picked and made the vital decision, Sabha Naqvi, in the state of Punjab will not be happy, and they need to take responsibility. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And for the Aam Aadmi Party was founded only in 2012.
Yes.
Let's remember that. Now they'll have another state. And this too a state where they have the police and a full statehood. So this is, and plus they have emerged in little bit in Goa, little bit in Uttarakhand.
Yeah.
And if the Congress manages to lose everywhere, then I mean, what can one say?
You're talking about the Gandhi family,
yes,
and you're talking about Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi feeling sad or upset if they see this result. Do you ever see the Congress learning from their mistakes? Do you ever see them looking and doing this manthan like the other parties do, Chintan Manthan, they do their baithaks, they do analysis as to why they lost an election, and they work and they have a plan ahead to not make the same mistakes in the next state that they go to
bring in
vote.
Mr. Madan on
They
this.
never do that.
Important point. Mr. Madan, let me bring you in. Kapil Madan comes in. Kapil Madan, look, this is a defeat for the Congress that it cannot run away from, especially its leadership. They made all the significant choices. They decided to bring in Channi. They kept on with Sidhu. They kicked out Captain. These were decisions directed by the High Command. Can they be insulated this time?
So, Rahulji, we need to see, if you see the exit polls of 2017, in fact, most of the exit polls, maybe India Today, Access, ABP News, India Today, Access, VDP Associates, nobody predicted that the Congress was going to get the majority back in 2017. But then again, when the results were out, I mean, you had the results and the Congress came up with thumping majority. So that's point number one. So let us wait for the results. And I'm sure this time also, in fact, you will see surprise and you will see results which are far, far different from what the exit polls are showing. And point number two, insofar as the leadership is concerned, I think...
Okay, let's bring in Raghav Chadha. He's there for about 10 minutes with us. Raghav Chadha, the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be the party of the moment. You've broken out of Delhi to now win, if this opinion poll, the Times Now veto poll is accurate, the first state. What do you put this down to?
Look, first of all, Rahul, the people of Punjab have overwhelmingly voted for change, and they have embraced the jodi of Mr. Kejriwal and Mr. Bhagwant Mann. I'm getting an echo. If you could kindly get that corrected.
Fix that, yeah.
For the last 50 years, Rahul, the last 50 years, you have seen the rule of Congress Party for 26 years and the Akali Dal for 24 years. The last 50 years, the plight of an ordinary Punjabi has gone from bad to worse. But these netas have prospered. And therefore, people wanted change. They were yearning for change. And, I can say this with certainty and responsibility that ye badlav ka chunav. And people have embraced the Kejriwal model of governance that has been demonstrated in Delhi. Today, I can say with Aam Aadmi Party winning or likely to win Punjab that today Aam Aadmi Party, which was considered to be a political toddler, is a national party, a force to reckon with nationally, and perhaps the national and the natural replacement of the Congress Party.
Okay, interesting you said that this is a national party with a footprint in 4 states, perhaps a government in 2. Interesting also that you mentioned the jodi of Bhagwant Mann and Arvind Kejriwal. Why is it a jodi? Isn't he the singular chief minister? Isn't he the singular face of the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab?
Of course. Mr. Bhagwant Mann is the president of our state unit. He is the chief ministerial candidate. He is going to be the next chief minister. My elder brother, Mr. Mann, will be the next chief minister of the state of Punjab. And Mr. Kejriwal is the national convener of the party. Both of them are the principal vote getters for us. And it was their jodi that the people of Punjab have embraced. And I have no hesitation in my mind in saying that today people of Punjab have voted for themselves. They have risen above all sorts of, things, goodies that were offered to them in the run-up to the election. They have refused to get divided on lines of caste, socio-economic backgrounds, religion, etc. And they have voted overwhelmingly for the Kejriwal model of governance. To see Mr.
Let's talk a little bit about the Kejriwal model of government. There are a large number of people, and I'm not talking about partisans from political parties or your opponents, but certain individuals who look at economics very closely, saying that Punjab is very precariously placed financially. And if you're going to embark on a freebie model of distributing a large number of subsidies and all sorts of other concessions to the electorate, you could push it over the edge. How do you respond to those critics?
You are absolutely right, Rahul. Punjab is a state that is under tremendous debt. From the outside, we know that the debt on the state of Punjab is close to 3 lakh crore. The population of Punjab is 3 crore. 3 lakh crore divided by 3 crore comes to per capita debt of 1 lakh rupees. That is, every Punjabi has a debt of 1 lakh rupees on their head. That's the state. That is the financial plight of the state of Punjab. So it is, of course, in very bad financial economic health, and it needs revival. It needs oxygen, which the Aam Aadmi Party will provide. And what you require to provide that oxygen for the economic revival of the state is willpower, the political might, and uprightness, integrity, which the Aam Aadmi Party offers. There are several. I can get into the nitty-gritties as to how revenue will be augmented, the new revenue streams will be created, etc. And we will bring this debt down, and also at the same time undertake several social welfare schemes for the people of Punjab. And what our critics usually call as freebies, I tend to call it a social security net that Mr. Kejriwal and Bhagwant Mann wish to offer to the people of Punjab.
Okay, final question, because of course we'll have to get into more details of what exactly your plans for getting revenues is. Finally, there is a very complicated, a very complex social fabric in Punjab. There are festering issues like that of Beadbi, of firing that happened, as a party that was largely perceived as a Delhi-based party. How are you going to address those very specific issues of identity that have festered?
Look, this is the fact. This Delhi-based party issues of identity are only creations of a section of media. People of Punjab, have given a big hug to Mr. Kejriwal and Mr. Bhagwant Mann and have said that, look, we want to see your model of governance. We want to experience your governance. I don't think that these, allegations or statements made by our critics hold any water.
Okay, one final question, Mr. Chadha, before we leave you, because I know you have to go. One final question. In hindsight, do you believe that the decision to go for some sort of a referendum to project Mr. Bhagwant Mann as Chief Minister was perhaps a mistake and oversight? Because clearly, if you go by all the exit polls, and we got the poll of polls also, the people of Punjab are quite convinced.
Look, I don't see it as a mistake. I see it as a political stroke. And perhaps, writers will write books on how it was a political, and authors will pen edit pieces on how it was a political masterstroke in the days to come. But I can certainly say that as announcing a chief ministerial face, or choosing who will be your chief ministerial candidate is important. But what is of significant importance, or perhaps even slightly more important, is when and how you announce it. And the Aam Aadmi Party has all its, it's our right to decide how we announce how we seek the opinion of the people. It is an instrument of direct democracy that Mr. Kejriwal has used in Delhi several times when he wants the opinion of people on certain critical policy measures. And something similar was done in the state of Punjab, and people of Punjab overwhelmingly voted for Mr. Bhagwant Mann. They want to see Mr. Mann as their next chief minister.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chadha, for sparing the time. And of course, the final result will be out in 3 days. So I suppose before you can breathe easy, you'll have to wait 72 hours. And we will also have to wait 72 hours to breathe easy, because we don't want to get our exit poll projection wrong. But let's have a quick look at the poll of polls, viewers. Padmaja, just have a look at this. This is the Times Now veto number, 70 there. The ETG Research, 72. PMark, 66. Axis My India, 58. So the most conservative of them all right now, apart from Polstrat, is the Access My India. But clearly the Aam Aadmi Party there still making the government by a very wafer-thin majority. But if you were to look at these two...
Look at today's Chanakya. Today's Chanakya has given them 100.
100, which is an explosive number. Jan Ki Baat, of course, I just want to now, viewers, look at the vote share.
If this happens...
Let's have a look at the vote share, because...
no, it has. That's what Raghav Chadha said. He said, we are the first natural party and the natural
Here comes the vote share. Why is it that we have this runaway mandate coming, if all of this is to be believed? Because the Congress only has 24% of the vote, viewers. The SAD has 23. But it's the Aam Aadmi Party that has 40. Now, why we see this variation is because there is a clear consolidation behind a new player. So this is a huge vote against the traditional parties of Punjab. Are you surprised, Smita Prakash?
Yes, because just think about it. What happened to that farmers' agitation? What happened to Rahul Gandhi climbing on that tractor, becoming the face of the farmers' agitation, which he tried? What happened to Captain Amrinder Singh sending those farmers to Delhi? They should have capitalized on that farmers' agitation, which went on for 1 year, right? But what happened? As a result of what Sidhu did to the Congress party, they lost the momentum on that farmers' agitation. They couldn't capitalize on that. Political
and the SAD came across looking like an opportunist, suddenly resigning and quitting after having sort of, you know, played its part. Exactly.
And so what was Aam Aadmi Party doing at that time? They remained low-key. But notice the Raghav Chadha interview that you did just now. They almost sound like they are repeating the BJP line, which is in every breath he says the leadership. Every breath he says Kejriwal along with Mann. Just like every BJP spokesperson that you speak to says Yogi and Modi in the same breath.
No, what are you
so
trying to say? Are you trying to say that
double engine ki sarkar?
No, are you also trying to say that he's a...
What worked for the BJP will work for the Aam Aadmi Party, and that's the line that they are taking.
Well, there is a phrase that is used...
we used it last time. Everyone hated us for it. Chota Modi, that Kejriwal is behaving like Chota Modi, Mr. Kejriwal.
Yes.